Okay. We are live.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. As usual, we are within the bracket of change of 3 days. So we're not too late. We're a couple of hours late, later than usual for our monthly sessions. And it's the spring equinox, it's the New Year's. Maybe we were hit by babalas, maybe, but here we are, and most thankful. I'm going to be writing up all your things on the side, so don't think I'm distracted, but you can
Okay.
most welcome to go ahead and start the class.
Yeah. Okay. No, ngiyabonga, Ndlovukazi. Thank you so much. We realized today that actually we missed one season, right? And we had closed, but it wasn't the closing. So we're still here, but happy African New Year to everybody. We're entering a very interesting season. We are on season one, Kappa month one of our calendar, but just to greet everybody that is here and regular greetings, Dumelang, Sanwanani, Tozani, Khanya, Lesedi, Kamakwini. Yes, and yes, greetings to everybody all over the diaspora, all over who recognize themselves as Africans. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know it was last minute. But as we say that, actually, we realized that we started in the Heteru season, which is the season of love, the next season that's coming. And we missed a whole episode on the African New Year and what the spring equinox was about. We've covered solstices, we've covered the autumn equinox, but we do not have anything that we spoke about regarding the spring equinox. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And today, it is accurately the spring equinox, and we're just going to go delve into what the spring equinox is about, what are the cosmos saying, and the consistency that we are just trying to get towards. So we usually start from the 21st, hence my queen here. Also, we do our sessions on the 21st because we're saying that we can feel the change in atmosphere already, the change in the cosmos from the 21st. So it changes per year. Sometimes it's a leap year, but usually from the 20th up until Boma 22nd, that is when in whatever year it will be the spring equinox. But for consistency, because we're trying to get to a point where actually we are using the correct calendars and not the calendars that are consistently unplugging us from who we are as people. We forgot to share the link to everybody. We hope everybody can see Guti. It's live, but bazoyithola later. Lesedi Khanya from Botswana.
I'll send it. I'll post it. What I do want to say is that, okay, let me quickly finish here. Is that, for anybody who joined these sessions from the beginning, I mean, we were like blank in the beginning, and I just want to say thank you, because, and I know I'm like, I don't know if I'm a late bloomer, but on this final one where we're starting again, now I understand the cycle and what's going on, and so thank you so much for all the wisdom. Thank you. Yes,
No,
I just
thank
wanted to say
you.
thank you on behalf of us.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, my queen. I think we mistake Uguti, man. It's because we speak about these things all the time. People know what this is all about, but I think when a person hears this content, there is some resonance that happens within them, something that is recognizing Gutai, man. This thing is sort of making sense, because we're not talking about something that is very foreign to us. This is literally nature. I know they call us names, but woke gang, it's a conscious, the conspiracy theorists, but it's literally just that realigning yourself to yourself, realigning yourself to your God state. So when we're saying good, we are gods, we're not just wanting to exclude other people or think we are very special, but we really are gods. We are the first beings, and right now we are entering the first season of the year. And I'm so glad that we have Botswana up in here. My queen, we've grown into the diaspora Gabampela. So we have people from Botswana who are tuning in tonight as well. So siyabonga, siyabonga for the work that you have done also in the past 11, now 12 months since we've been doing this series. So thank you so much for this amazing platform. So we know there's festivities that are going on today and in different parts of the world, you know, when it's the spring equinox, a autumn equinox, winter solstice, summer solstice, what does this mean, you know? So as Africans, we've been very unplugged from all these celebrations. You know, you would see at the Stonehenge when it's the spring equinox, everybody's just going bananas, and they in this huge celebration of the new year that is happening, you know. So this happens after this latent period of the hibernation that we come from. So winter, that is the latent period where nothing is growing, nothing. We just literally working on our inner self so that we are understanding things, so that now when the new season comes, the season of Asar, and across all Africans, or most Africans and most cultures or indigenous cultures, especially in the southern hemisphere here, we recognize September as the month of new beginnings, right? So we are also very cognizant of the lunar calendar, because we know our Basotho people, they start their celebrations when the new moon in August lands, you know. So to be more accurately, but now for consistency's sake, Isonongati, like I said on Friday with our Botswana royals, Uguti, it's all sad being so melanated, because we're trying to realign to ourselves, but we still need to sort of exist in the systems that we are currently existing in, you know. So the calendar that we are using, to those who are new to the content, it's called the Gregorian calendar, which does not have any resonance to us as a people. We don't know why Diwani, what's so significant about Diwan, but when they're using our content, though, you can see that they transition their periods from either the 20, the 21, you know, when you're looking at the zodiac wheel, which is the star signs, you know. They're using your another exact same content, but they don't realign it to the one that they had decided that is the beginning of the month, you know. So with us here, we transition our periods from the 23rd of the current month to the 23rd of the next month. Thokozani, thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to everybody. We are in season 1, kapa month 1 of our calendar. This is what we call the African calendar, what we're trying to realign back to. This is just basically nature. We're realigning to nature. And like I said, that's all over Africa, most indigenous tribes, and we can take South Africa as an example. There's various festivities that goes on. You know, we know the Bavenda people, they have big celebrations, beautiful celebrations when the first rains do come in September. We know Bapedi, it's not so televised so much, but they also have their own thing. Basotho, like I said, they start their new year because Batamayaka, the lunar calendar, you know, which is the 13-month calendar, which was the original calendar that we actually used. But because the solar calendar is a bit more consistent, we have diverted to be using the solar calendar. But Handle, we have 13 seasons as Africans, or historically in Africa. But because the moon decides when it comes out, when the new moon, when full moon, when, and it doesn't give that sort of consistency. And like I said, that unfortunately we're living in times of systems, you know, where we're trying to get some sort of a direction as a people. And I think if we can unite as a people, you know, and when I say as a people, this is me avoiding saying as a race. Like I say, that everybody is playing the race game except for us, you know. And imagine how amazing it would be if we united as a people, you know, if we loved one another, you know, we recognize Horeman, actually these things that we're participating in are making us victims to our own selves, and love being the highest form of vibration. Just imagine how insane it would be, you know, if we all understood, okay, sivusela lo moya lona, because also, fortunately for us, you know, no matter how much they try and unplug us from ourselves, no matter if you've landed in colonial systems of the Abrahamic religions, or wherever it is where you have landed, but there's something inside of you that wants to connect you and create that cosmic resonance with the, so as above so is below, you know, to have that connection, and we see how it does affect us, you know, especially I like saying the water babies, the moon babies. We know when it's the full moon that, you know, people are either sad or there's no sleep or anything like that. And besides the fact that we are made from more than 70% of water, but then we have that extra advantage as a people where we have this thing in Ayarona, which we call the melanin, you know. And I know there's a books that say Hare, in the end times there will be this beast that comes, you know. But when we go to the core of it now and we're looking at the compound that actually makes melanin, according to the scholars that have been instrumental in my journey as well, it is made from 6 carbons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. For those being familiar with science, you know, which is the base compound, yeah, the carbon atom, you know, which is what melanin is about. But like a melanin there's something that is also a bit extra, you know, or ubuntu lona, you know, that is also because of the melanin that we have. You know, we know that with the lighter people, the lighter people, they do have some shade of melanin, but abana melanin you know. And we know from 2012, according to Mudimuncho, from 2012, the kids that are born from that period going forward, they're born with all their DNA strains intact. You know, they're born with 12 DNA strains. So that is why we get things, questions like, yeah, but why fashion? But literally, banabana are the kids that are born. These are the return of their ancestors. You know, this is a them where we are trying to put things back into order. You know, we need to rise. So when they're speaking about the rise of the beast, you know, with these fear-based religions or practices, they're literally saying that this is the rise of Indlemnyama, basically. And we've seen that, you know, at the Black consciousness has been happening, you know. Abondlovukazi have been carrying it through poetry in the earlier days, you know, because of influences from their own families, you know. But some of us, most of us, did not have the privilege of maybe growing in a conscientized environment, you know. But siyabonga for the works that you guys have done. We checked out the earlier episode today. Please go check it out as well, where Queen is speaking about, you know, the poetry scene, you know, that era. And, you know, some of us, we decided to grow our afros and all of that. So the rise of the beast has been happening, and it has nothing to do with anything that is evil, you know. So they will try in all manners to want to suppress us. But I think here today, I just want to read Campaign Africa to be cleansed and transition to the new year, knowing that our strength thrives based through continental cooperation and synergy to affirm Afrocentricity. That's right. Yes, my queen or king. But yeah, so that is where the level that we need to get to, you know, where we're recognizing Uguti. Well, we do know, you know, we've seen Uguti, there's power in unity, you know, we say it all the time, but we don't get to practice, you know, because the core of us, which is our spiritual practice, you know, we're not recruiting anybody to anything, but you just need to look at civilizations all across the world, you know, when they have a common understanding of who their God is, you know, progress. Whereas for us, it's so funny, you know, we sing songs like, I will serve no foreign God, but we do exactly that, you know, we are serving gods that have nothing to do with us. But we're just gonna start how we usually start, with the things that align us with the season, and we'll get into the little bit of what the spring equinox is. Hare what does that mean? Hare season ya twasa, you know. So like we mentioned, this is the first season in New Year ya ona. To those who've just joined us, Happy New Year, Happy Spring Equinox. We transitioned Kayona this calendar for 12 months. So it's a 12-month calendar based on the Dendera zodiac, right? So the Dendera zodiac, this is the zodiac that these children of ours, they stole from ancient Kemet. So it was a calendar that was placed on a ceiling. So where like the circle, the zodiacs as you know them, we know that it's made up of animals, right? Except for one zodiac house. So your Libras, your Aries, your Pisces, as you know them, were taken from there. You know, they're existing in places like the Louvre Museum, they got the France, you know, they're existing in other people's environments, you know, and lady star signs that we're trying to go by right now. They're saying that it is the Libra, not Libra, sorry, the yes, Libra season. No, it's Libra, yes, after Virgo. It's the Libra season. But actually, it's not the Libra season. For us, this is the Aries season. And when you're looking at the zodiac wheel, right, that's little calendar inner, the zodiac wheel, it's based also on the revering of the sun. You know, most religions across the world, their core, they took it from us as a people, where we recognize Uguti, the sun is the life giver. You know, the sun, if the sun was to decide, I'm not alive anymore, there's no more life that happens, you know. And we'll get into that as we're speaking about this energy house, kapa this deity, kapa this god. And I'm avoiding saying God to avoid the religious connotation, but it's basically umoya okona, you know, what we are currently experiencing. We are seeing that things are going green again. So the season is called the Assa season, season ya Mvuseleli, kapa the resurrector, the god of resurrection, kapa Motsoselleli ka Sesotho le Setswana le Sepedi. So resurrection is happening, renewal is happening at the season, and we're gonna see. Is a new year for us Bantu living in the West too. West meaning the white West, that West. Okay, so we get this question a lot. Yeah, just clarify the my king or queen. Just clarify for us, and then yeah, we'll take it from there if that's the West that you mean. But the season starts from the 23rd of September up until the 23rd of October. And we'll explain that ending as well, because 23rd tomorrow, before the sun rises, that is the end of the new season, which is the season that we're still in right now. But on the 23rd as well, it is the start, the Asar season. So we start our day only when the sun rises. You know, this whole situation of a midnight being the beginning of the day does not have any resonance with us. You know, again, another tool that is used to unplug us to our real selves. You know, shout out to the Coco there. They gave you a nice present there. Thank you so much, Unati. Thank you so much for super thanksing the content, the queen here. And yeah, please join the membership, for extra episodes on this platform here. But also, where were we? Yeah, so our day starts when the sun rises, not at midnight as dictated by the current time that we are living in. So that is why like it looks a bit odd. Okay, why is the ending not the 22nd, right? And then the color, the season is the color green. So for those who, I think also you don't need to be a spiritualist or anything like that, but color green just signifies newness, new beginnings, new life. You know, for those who work with who do like little magic, we know that this is the color of abundance, the color of prosperity, you know, whether you're going to be manifesting it in color or the stuff that you wear. But I think I spoke about this a little bit on Friday with our Botswana Royals. In science, you know, for us science students, we used to do like little experiments where we would see, okay, this color from the rainbow, how far does its frequency go? So these are things, these are as much as they're not tangible, but these things literally, they're like, you know, there's everything that's on the world, even though it looks like it's standing still, it vibrates. So color is one of those things that also vibrate. And like I'm saying, it's the color of prosperity, abundance, you know, when you want to manifest newness and all of that, this is the color to work with, you know. And I think the go-to for most people would be a green candle, a dala, right? And then we're gonna go also into the color of us as a people, why we also say we are the beginning people. Yes, shout out to Nati on the membership there as well. Ubuntu, yes, West as in the Northern Hemisphere, USA. Okay, we're gonna touch onto that as well, ne? Because yeah, there's people who still want to align themselves to their actual roots, but there's people also so I do have an explanation for you guys there in the Northern Hemisphere, but we'll get into that. Just remind me if I forget this one, Ubuntu roots. But thank you so much for joining us from the diaspora there. We are growing, we give thanks and we give thanks. And then the gemstone, the season is a Malachite stone. So it's one of these more pricier stones, but it's a very, 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 very important stone. So it's a stone that you can use for your prosperity, for new beginnings, for the heart chakra too, So for me, it's one of my oldest, one of my first stones, You'll see also that they credo, as Ukoko Tulio also mentioned a lot, that they credo will be wearing a green stone, but with her knowledge, Ukoko Tuli, she says that is the African jade, but the green stone. So get yourself green stones. You can also hop onto MySpace there. We do have the chakra bracelets. We also have the cosmic resonance box for all these tools that we're going to be mentioning in this episode here. And then the metal, the season is the iron metal, right? And iron, it's really available. I think in most of our Bantu languages, but it's also another element that helps with this transitional period. It's also an element that also offers spiritual protection, so that is the metal. And then so we mentioned, so I forget to do my countdown. So we mentioned the time, the color, the stone, the metal, then the incense. The season is Cypress. So Cypress is made from one of these trees, these cone trees, these cone producing trees, right? So those are also, I think if you can check the similarities of those stones as well. So those are the stones that also offer abundance, they offer prosperity, they offer protection, they offer warding off negativity, So you'd see in other people's yards, banally that like these these pine trees in their yards, right? And you see Horaman. Wealth, you must go check there in suburbia. A lot of these yards, they have these trees there, these pine producing trees. So it's very abundance making. It's a very nice scent as well. It's also another tree that offers protection from negativity as well. But you're gonna get it in incense form for the season, or you can use it from the actual tree. It's an evergreen tree, which speaks again now to this everlasting life that we have, because Rona, as Africans, our life does not age. We go through transitional periods, we go through a latent period, but impilo ngapheli, like how my brothers and I would be greeting each other, Hare, thokoza kunjani khehla kunjani gogo, impilo engapheli, because that is how we are as Africans. Arena an ending, and as explained with the world as well, the cyclical transition of creation, with everything of ours, it happens in a circle. Oh, I need to do it that way. Yeah, okay, got your camera. I need to do it that way. But also signifies the significant life. It's an evergreen tree as well, and speaks to the deity Enaya Assa or Nawarona. And then the scent, the season is cinnamon. So cinnamon, readily available. It's a kitchen herb. The Americans need some herbs, kitchen herb. So a lot of people, I personally also have used it a little bit. So it's one of the common ones where you call them what, the white witches, ne? So kitchen magic, you can use it also. It's also a very great simple tool for prosperity magic, for manifestation of abundance and all of that. But also it's got like a woody, sweet, and like this nice smell thing, whether you're gonna be directed in whether you're gonna use it with your candles or in your lotion that you wear or in your bath water. But cinnamon is a great and simple tool to have. There's people also who believe in maybe how you to an interview, just put it in your shoe there. But we're not here to give spells there. But cinnamon is I'm just saying for those who who are also still maybe also on the fence with working with muti, even though there's nothing wrong with muti, but we understand the colonial connotation of muti. But muti basically translates to tree. How can you be hating on a tree? All right. So anyway, so that is the scent, the season. And then the tree, the season, it's an acacia tree. Acacia. I grew up in Pretoria, so we have a neighborhood called Acacia. So this tree is also one of these ancient trees. Also, another tree for protection. Also, it's also another tree that also helps with transitional periods. So in ancient times, this would be the tree that they use for funeral rites as well, to help the departed to transition into a new life. But this is also a very I think those who are in the Limpopo region, of the more drier areas, you would see this tree a lot. So it's called also the thorn tree, or the giraffe thorn tree. So the tree, you see how giraffes eat that spiky tree. So it's got spikies, it's got a flat top, so, and it's very, 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 very rooted, So by virtue of that, it's like less maintenance. It's green, but it's living in a very arid area. So for Rona, the Limpopo descendants, it's something that I've seen, in very dry areas, but it's still green throughout the year. Also speaking to this deity, the deity of Assa, the green god. So I know with some people, if you are maybe not exactly new to the content, you've heard of it. Okay, what is the green god? What is the black god? So the black god we covered when it was the winter solstice, where now that was the rebirth. Right now we are entering the return. The return of Assa. So the rebirth, we had our Christmas, got the winter solstice, where now Assa was appearing as Usokar, as the black god, the god in hibernation. But remember, we are talking about principles here. We're not literally talking about these fake and mythical creatures, or some guy who died forever. But other scholars speak differently. But I just want us to understand it as a principle, and how we can apply it to our lives, and how we can use these principles to enhance our lives. And I think with most of us, we've had a great testimonials, when we've managed to realign with this calendar, to realign Nomoya that is prevalent at a certain time. So as mentioned, this is season 1. Melody Twala is here. So profound impilo ngapheli, Ashe, Asar, Mvuseleli, we give thanks. And then also I like sharing the Greek names, because these are the people, Bona, they came, they studied, but they studied and still stole our content, to enhance their stuff, So if you hear about Thor, if you hear about Osiris, Isis, so these are literally concepts from us as a people, and we are taking this content from a Kemetic spirituality point of view, because it's not the most ancient, but it is something that it can tie us nicely together, something that is more closer to us. It's not very, very old, and we know current times in those Middle Eastern areas, for this content, because when the Greeks came and studied and left, and other people, they came and left and stole though, but we had people who colonized the areas and colonized and gate-kept this content. So I'm sure if you're gonna search Asar right now, somebody of a softer hair, lighter shade than you, and have names like Boma Muhammad, hint, hint. So those are the people that are actually wanting to keep this content, away from us. And they know, Lebona, historically, that the people, Kemet actually means land of the blacks. Kemet means black when you translate the actual words, Yakona, and yeah, so right now it looks like it's their content, but it is all ours. There's nothing outside of African civilization. But with the colonial effects, they would paint us as these barbaric people. Some people, we took them from caves, taught them how to bath and all of that. So also the spirituality. Don't think hore, no, yoga is for the Indians, but yibo abantu abayiphilisayo, unfortunately. But with this rise of the beast that I was speaking about earlier on, we are seeing that a lot of goddesses, are also engaging in giving us yoga practices. These picnics that are happening, festivals that are happening, but this is basically also dealing with these chakra points in our bodies. And while we are still on the chakra, so this season we're gonna deal a lot with this head region, because like I'm saying, this is a beautiful time to start new projects, whether you're gonna start that new business, if you've been ngabazing, start that new business, start that whatever it is that you were working on while you're in hibernation. Now is the time to give it life, like with one of the ceremonies that Assa in the season, it's called the book of breathing, right? That part of the ceremony, but it's breath is related to life, basically, right? To vitality. So it's called the book of breathing. And when we delve a little bit into the mythology, I'll just touch a little bit for those who maybe are joining us for the very first time here. But Queen and I, we like referring to a movie called The Lion King, the original Lion King, or The Lion King. So that is the story, that is the African creation story in a nutshell. But it speaks of the story of Asar, who is Asar in this creation, right? So in a nutshell, we'll just start from the base where Asar would appear in creation. So Asar forms part of the gods that appear now in the physical phase of creation. So the third phase of creation, which is we call it Rostau in Medunature, but this is basically the organic world, where now everything was created emoyeni and celestially so, and then now these principles get to be manifest. So Asa is one of the first children, Walomoya Lona, but we'll start it from the top. So we have what we call Atum, which translates to atom in science that we did, which is the smallest particle that's of anything, right? And then in biblical terms, they refer to it as Adam, So the Bible is quite encoded. It's just it was used as a tool just to unplug us from who we are. But you're not Adam. Again, about Adam is the first man and all of that. So these things are coded there, but you need to recognize, Hore, you don't need to take it from that angle, but from the angle, Hore, this belongs to you. This is your content, right? So there's Adum at the top of this phase where the 9 gods would appear in this organic world, because in this organic world of creation. And then Atum gives birth to Umoya, so god of the air, what we call Ushu, and then god of moisture or god of the water, what we call Utefnut, but more accurately the moisture. So those 2 gods are the parent body. From that comes Ugep no Nut, right? So Nut is the season that we are currently in, we're transitioning from. So Nut is the Pisces season, which is the 12th month of our calendar, the Alpha and Omega, as we touched on in the previous episode that we did on the platform here. And this is the sky goddess. This is represented by the sky goddess Kapa Moya Ona, but we can literally see the sky, right, when we're looking up. So they describe Nut as with a belly full of stars. She gives birth to the sun beginning of the day, and then we are Gwinya at the end of the day. So that is the Nut principle. And then the consort to Nut would be Geb, which is the grandfather. So this is the bottom part of the shape of the world. So umhlaba lefati, they call him the god of the earth, if you've heard of such terms before. And then those are the macro to it, right? And then amadlozi wokuqala, and by dlozi I mean umoya, right? Not your blood ancestors, not amatongo. But I know in the Nguni language there is that debate, but for our content here, just walk with me. Idlozi is the everlasting principles, ne? So universal principles. Let's stick to that. Umoya. Let's say umoya. We'll have our debate, tongo, ukloza, and all of that some other time. But for content here, we're gonna say idlozi, right? So idlozi, it's an unending principle. It's not mortal. it's intangible, but we can feel it, we can feel the effects, we can see the effects as well. So Assa is the first child to Geb Linuti, and the consort to Assa is Oset, right? Oset would be God the Mother, right? The divine feminine. So this is the balance. So that is why I mentioned okay, they're saying it's the Libra season, but it's the Libra season in the northern hemisphere. And I think we need to answer Acacia earlier on. Okay, what do you guys do in the northern hemisphere? Okay, well, some people though, they rather realign to their to the motherland, right? So when we are doing all the celebrations, especially the important ones, the 4 ones, so the spring equinox, autumn equinox, summer solstice, winter solstice. So some royals in the diaspora or up above the equator, they still want to celebrate with us, right? But I'm saying for living life, for putting these principles into practice, though, you need to align to what Moya is present in at your current time, right? So you guys in the north, you are on the zodiacs as we know them. You are in the Libra season, which is the season of Osset. You guys are in the autumn equinox, when we are in the spring equinox. And then I think the one thing that we forgot are the animals that align us with the season when I'm speaking about the autumn equinox now and the spring equinox for the north. So the animals that align with the season is the ram, and as depicted in the zodiac wheel, which is the first animal house, right? The ram. And then also the hare, the rabbit, right? So but the hare, want to touch a little bit on the hare. This speaks to the fertility aspect, right? So in the north, their spring equinox would happen at Easter period, right? If you are now aware of these things. So that Easter period, we know the Easter eggs and these bunnies, and we never knew what is the correlation there. So this is literally just this. And by the hare, we know, there's a saying that you're humping like rabbits, right? Because they reproduce a lot, right? So this is in relation to fertility, which is linked to the god or sage, right? The consort to Assa, where it's the period itself. It's called Easter period, but it's from this ancient god called Ishtar, which is Esther. It became Esther as transitions would happen. But this is basically the god of fertility, the god of producing newness and all of that. So the principle, Assa, is it's renewal. And then the function is germination. And germination in a nutshell basically means the state of going from seed to blooming, That's what already hakutunya. Batswana, I think I know in Xhosa there's a term called Kama, QH, right? Yeah, so when things are now blooming, so that period where the seed is transitioning from seed status to blooming. And when we're speaking of that and going back to our spring equinox, let's start by unpacking the word itself. So equinox is from the word, 2 words. It's a Latin word, so it's from the 2 words equi, means equal, and then nox would be night, right? So equinox or equal night, meaning that in a 24-hour cycle, and 24-hour day, the amount of daylight, the number of nighttime, the equal, they're not out of balance. So we know the winter solstice, for example, that is the longest night, so we know that our earth, I know I'm going to upset the flat earthers a lot, but the earth is is tilted in a way, but when it's the equinoxes, when spring equinox, autumn equinox, then it's balanced, the divine feminine, the divine masculine is balanced. That is why we have royals who go to the lands like Bo Inzalo Yelanga to witness this phenomenon, And I think with the new season, I don't know if you guys were like aware, you guys living consciously, but there's literally a time where the sun and the moon would be out at the same time, and this would be speaking again towards what Newt is, the alpha, the omega. I just want to catch up on comments before we go. Kuma tube, yeah, and then the product of the Kuma ring, is it Kama? Okay, please educate me, Solomon. But yeah, I know the name, somebody's name like that. Okay, we read Love Cinnamon, Anut, Assa, Togoza Gogo, Gogo Kemering, Pela Impile Ngapeli. Hiding the truth in plain sight, absolutely. Lesedi Khanya, Dumela Gogo, Kuma, yes, Hotunya would be that. But I don't know what the product is. You'll translate for me there, Kesha, as well. Siyabonga. Asa Motsoselleli. We have our Sotho speakers there as well. But this is the God of resurrection, as mentioned. And then where were we? Equinox. Yeah. So in the summer as well, when we have the summer solstice, this would be the longest day and the hottest day of the year. But at the equinox, the day and the night are actually very much in balance. But what does this phenomenon physically manifest as? So from the 20 easy kamo would be equal to fruits. Okay, thank you, Sabonga. I'm just a petty girl, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. What's this? Dua Newt. Galeboga so much. The royals that are joining us right now. But yeah, so this transition period, for consistency's sake, we say that the sun now. So remember, we are literally tracking the journey of the sun. With this 12-month period that we've been in, we're literally tracking Horoke. How far are we from the sun? Now, because now this is our life giver, and we know, as mentioned when we started our episode, in the latent period, the sun is furthest away from us. That is why nothing is greening, nothing is anew. That is why you're working now behind the scenes. We saw Queen is launching new things on her channel as well, because it is the new season. She's transitioning nicely with Umo, yeah, basically. So when this phenomenon happens, the 21st now the sun is making its journey back to the southern hemisphere. Ishapa reverse now, and then it's going now back to the southern hemisphere, and Yakela from the northern hemisphere, where they now are starting to get into their period of hibernation. I'm not too sure how they celebrate the lamentation period, but we have Hare and the autumn equinox. We call it Islilo Siganomkhubulwane, where now the death of Asar is starting, where now the sun is moving. So from the 21st, the journey back to the south begins, and then on the 23rd, now the sun literally is shining right here and existing right here in the southern hemisphere. So hence, get the return of the sun, but the rebirth of the sun, Christmas, Habare, the Christ, and also taken from KRS, right? KRST from our content as well. For those who are into hip hop, there's the gentleman called KRS1. So that is also speaking to the God, the spirit that inside of us, the spirit that connects us back to the cosmos, as above, so as below. There's a lot of scholars also who speak how we are from Ezingulubeni, we are from the cosmos, And with this equinox, how spring is marked as well. So the very first rain. So like I was mentioning, different cultures, which they celebrate in different manners and all of that, right? We know there's the reed ceremonies that happen as well across the Swati people a lot. I don't know if the Zulu girls also do it, but there's a lot of rains that I mentioned in the season. So the very first rains are the ones that actually mark the beginning of spring, if you want to be more accurate. If there's no systems and we don't have bills to pay and all of that, I think a lot of us would realign to that, and this is how Abokoko used to live back in the day. It was okay, this would be their markings. And as my friend Hare would say that, I think the cosmos are consistently showing us that we are perpetual students of the cosmos. The cosmos never include Karuna, but we are the ones that are always in observance. So he said that our first stars, the stars that appear, the constellations that appear, is something called the Orion belt, which is also depicted by like three stars, where the ancients would say, Hore, these are the pigs. They're literally referring to that constellation, Orion's belt, where it looks like three little pigs in the stars. And then there's also another constellation. I'm not going to touch too much on it, but it's more commonly called the Seven Sisters or the Seven Stars, if you are into astronomy and astrology. But when those stars appears, up here, this would be the marking here of spring, and this would be when we're experiencing the first rain starona. So it's just last week, no, 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine came to my home, but why is this fig tree without fruits? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's cut so often and all of that, but not realizing actually that no, the very next week after she asked me that question, now this fruit was literally blooming, which speaks again to this new life here, Assa. And I think the rains did come then, and you could see also the stars, had also appeared. So the first appearance, so this is how Abogoko also would tell time. So it's not just pretty things to look at, but the stars, the cosmos, Hare, we are cosmic beings, Hare, we are gods, Hare, we are from the stars, Ribodi knowledge, like even our languages, they also, the words that we speak, they hold so much weight, when you go into like maybe the etymology of words and why would this be named this? Why we call this a star? Now, Lady King, Hunter, so these markings, and how also this DNA strain is also bounded by hydrogen. And speaking of DNA, I just want to get into, while I'm looking at my plant here, get into back to the color of Assa, the green, and why do we say new beginnings, right? So like I said, for example, you would see if you're living consciously or you're aware now, you would see a lot of trees as well, whether it's a flower, a kumileng, whether a fruit, even if it's not ripe as yet, but this would be literally now this newness that comes. And there's chlorophyll, Hakibwa, about Asa being the green god. This chlorophyll that you see in the plants themselves, right? That is the same composition that you'd find in the melanin of us as a people, So which brings me back to that same point, Yahore. We are literally one with nature, So that is why it's also quite healing when you're hugging a tree, That is why we're also advocating with, eat your greens, eat more greens. And I'm glad, I think that there's a movement towards that direction, Vele, which, we're going back to herbal things, we're going back to green things, the shakes that we are drinking. There's Gogo Melody here as well. She makes a lot of beautiful detox things, but I know there's a lot of green in that. And actually, funny enough, green is her favorite color as well. But I think you also now, I feel like, when you're dressed in green, whether you're going to an event or anything, but when you're dressed in green, now there's that revival that is happening inside of you, So that is why I'm in my shades of green today. But Dua Neteru, Dua to all zodiac houses today. And yeah, the Libras, I'm sorry to upset you, but you're actually Aries of the Aries house, right? And the Aries house is also ruled by the planet Mars, which speaks again to the masculine, right? The root chakra again. But Kiona Asa Hare Mudimuntate, right? So I know a lot of people are also transitioning a lot into the Abrahamic religions, and they usually ask, no, Gogo, how do I pray? When do I pray? How do I pass and whatnot? So the basics, you can stick to the original Trinity, the basics, while you're still also transitioning and working through this content too. But Mudimu Tate, Mudimu Me, which is what was taken from the Trinity itself. Mudimu Me, which is Oset, Tlatamacholo, Gazisoto, Unom but there's that debate there. Some people say Nom Hoi, but we'll stick to Nom Kubulane for the content that we have covered so far. But the divine mother, Mudimu Me, Mudimu Tate, Mudimu Wana. And yeah, you can maybe start your prayers that way if you're still transitioning. Is moringa green? Because that's quite popular as a superfood. Absolutely, Onati. It is green. It is a superfood. Whether you're gonna take it in tea form or whether you're another powder itself. I'm glad that you mentioned that. So please, yeah. Throughout the year, I like my moringa. It is a superfood, but there's no green food that I know that is not good. There's also a friend of ours, she does a brand called Hasile. So even what we consider as weeds, she knows how to repurpose it, whether it's going to be in food form, like your blackjack. So for example, who knew that blackjack is actually some type of spinach, blackjack, yeah, so green is literally life giver, like I mentioned in one of the ceremonies, the Assa is the book of breathing, I'm also looking for another term for it, but basically, yeah, the restoring of that life. And back to the mythology. So I think we have about 10 minutes left. Yeah, so I just want to speak on the mythology part of it, for in case there's also you want to explain to the babies as well. So you can play the Lion King for them to understand the story of Assa and Oset and Heru and Set and all of that. So as explained with the 9 Enneads, so the 9 gods from Atum to Geb, Nut, Shutef, Nut, and the 5 kids, Assa, Oset, Neptet, Set, and then Heru the elder, Heru Ur. All right, so with the story, so how it goes. So Assa is consort to Oset, the divine mother. What you'd say is the Aries season, but it's the Libra season. The divine mother, and then Set, Le, Neptet are consorts, and then they also have their own offspring there. But the offspring to Assa and Oset is Heru, which is the principle of ascension, right? Where your yellow chakra lives there, where your decision making lives, right? The solar plexus that we would live, the relation to the sun, that would be Assa. That would be Heru, but Heru is also it's that whole concept of a what's this how's God the Father and God the Son, but it's basically from this unpacking of or using this mythology. And we use mythology to understand one of these principles, right? It's not just fake things. It's not fake things, but we're using storytelling because we know as a people we speak in stories, we speak in colors, we speak in we are visual people. So the story goes that the brother to Set, right? The little brother, the brother to Assa, which is Set, goes and confines Assa in a box. But before that, tries tricking Assa into a box, right? So Ukenako boxing Assa, he takes the measurements and all of that, but eventually also now analyzes Assa and then scatters and chops Assa into 14 body parts. And with those body parts, then Oset scatters these body parts all over the world. So that is why, with other scholars, they also say that is why you'll also find the presence of blackness everywhere in the world. But that is a fact, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, that is a fact. So these body parts are scattered all over the world, and the only body part that's not found is the phallus. Now in the story, the phallus comes now the Immaculate Conception, where now Mary, the Virgin Mary, and all of that. But this is literally content that comes from this actual story or explanation of Moya. But we covered this episode. I think we touched on it in the Oset season. We touched on it on the Neptet season. The Immaculate Conception part of the story. So anyway, so Oset unalives the brother Assa, and now Oset, which is the sisters, also the wife. And also we need to understand the relationships of these energy houses. It's not in the incestuous manner that they're mentioned, brother and wife and and all of that, but just to understand the closeness of it, the interrelatedness of all these concepts, like we usually speak. I think we spoke about it extensively when we're speaking about the creation story, Uti, as much as fire, earth, air, and water are different phases of creation, but all these things are interlinked. One cannot live without the other, Anyway, so back to the story. And then Oset, Neptet, the sister, the little sister, which is now the partner to Set, they go all around the world now collecting these body parts, right? And then in the interim, also training Heru. So the descendants, now that the Immaculate Conception has happened, Oset now needs, Oset's child, Heru, now needs to come and defeat Set, right? But Set, when we understand it as a concept or as a principle, this is just you defeating your lower selves. I don't like the term that these people like using, go to your animal self. It's not your animals, because animals are also they're not bad things, but they, just for understanding, would say your lower vibrational self. So we use Uses to ascend to our higher state, right? So it is a necessary force. So anyway, so Assa, his body parts get collected as well, all over the world. And then said, which is the goddess of magic. Basotho ba re ke tlatla matsholo, le tla intshwarela with my pronunciation, but basically meaning that this magic that they need to do. But in this putting together of Assa, and I think on my platform, please subscribe to my channel too. On my platform, we like referring to remembering ourselves. So we are putting these pieces of ourselves that were cut off from us back. So we are reminding ourselves who we are. But this is basically speaking to this part of the story where now God the mother as well as the sister, which is the protector, are putting Assa back, the body parts. And then in that comes the principle of the spoken word. In the holy book, but in the beginning was the word. So this is Lomoya law that they refer to. Basotho ba re ke thuto, right? So this is the God or the custodian or the keeper of the Akashic records, this energy, Jehuti. But so Jehuti provides God the mother or said with the words to recite, the magic to recite in order to revive Assa, hence also the book of breathing, because there's also where amapigo are also used just to pump life, resurrect this life, little sort of CPR, spiritual CPR there to put Assa, to put the life back into Assa. So that is why he's a black god in the winter. And then now this ceremony now that we're going into Assa, he becomes the green god, the god of new hope, new revival, new beginnings, at Assa ubuyile. So that is why we are celebrating it as Africans, new life is beginning, instead of celebrating the 31 that have no resonance to anything, we need to celebrate now where we tangibly also seeing good, like this is new life that is beginning for us. But so much. I think I'm just gonna read the rest of the comments and then we're gonna close. If you have more questions, thank you, Natsi. I misinterpreted what Gogo Mohari was saying. Solomon, no problem. Okay, that's an internal chat. Hasili Hola, yes, the lady I was telling you about, repurposing cow dung for face mask or sunscreen. Yeah, so these are things that our indigenous people, our ancient people, what Gogo used to do. If you're privileged enough to have like a homeland to go to, a lot of us the products the concentration camp, we're not aware of such things, but there's literally places where they still use cow dung for stupu, for masking themselves, but also the significance of that, maybe I don't know, we'll touch on to it some other time, but there's a spiritual significance to why is this cow dung being used. There's people baba anang di khomo, whether ke khomo ya metsi, but whose totems are cows, or people that are working with deities that have to do with cows, whether it's the celestial cow or the ing. But you'd find also there's a lot of healing in cow dung, because cow, we know it eats the greenery and then that excrement. So a lot of people, I know there's a Ghana girl who shared the story from me, which and they took the dung from a cow from the waters, what's it called? But literally she got healing from this cow dung that was used. Claudia, thank you so much. Thank you, sis. Thank you for the teaching. Onati, can't believe I've been missing these calendar lives. I'm definitely going to make an effort to watch them going forward. Yeah, you can definitely catch up on them on this platform and also on my platform too. Part 2, please. We need more of this content. But so much, Royals. We know it is a Sunday. Some people are busy. Hey, Soso, Togozile, gratitude. I'm so glad I found you. Thank you so much, Soso. But thank you so much, Royals. Thank you so much for this. It's a straightforward season, like if you're doing abundance things this season, make sure it's dressing your green, whether you're gonna dye your hair green or whatever it is, but do that. And we're hoping we're gonna get to a point where collectively as Africans, even if you're in the diaspora, just also connect with us. We know the more we do things as a collective, that frequency also increases. And when we're increasing the frequency, we know our healing is nearby. So like I'm saying that imagine if Black people loved each other, you know, besides outside of these divisions, because we need to recognize, Hore, it's by design, so now these divide and conquers, you know. So imagine if we understood, Hore, no, by the 23, we are all raising the vibration of this day, you know, whether you are gonna be drumming or feeding your family or playing in your garden or whatever it is that you'll be doing, but giving reverence and saying thank you to the sun as well. Thank you for returning and bringing new life here, you know, outside of, we don't have to have the same religion or in, but let's just understand, like, can we get an understanding, Hore, the sun is the God, because what is God? I get it, God is the life giver, so the sun is the God, right? But it's the masculine part of God, right? And then we have the moon, where the moon is the one that decides how much hydrogen is pumped emhlabeni at this day, you know, so which speaks to the divine feminine. And God, the equinoxes, that's when these energies are in a nice balance. So that is what the spring equinox is all about. That is what the African New Year is all about. So I think let us do something big and better next year. We tried doing something collective for the ones that could not go to the Holy Lands and all of that. But yeah, wherever you are, you know, Umoya, it will definitely collect us. But let's just share the knowledge. You know, you don't have to be a hotep or anything like that to understand this concept. You're literally seeing outside Uguti, it's green. You know, it's green. If you are down here in the southern hemisphere, we're feeling also the hydrogen, because big band. Okay, now we experienced weird things like lunar eclipses and all of that. But I think those are their own episodes as well. But that is what we have for tonight. I feel like I spoke a lot. I hope I didn't speak too fast, but I'm not seeing complaints of speaking too fast today. But Makri,
No.
and Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everybody in the comments and those who will be catching this later on. Even if you go to the WhatsApp tomorrow, even spring sachahu, the beginning of spring sachahu, you know, whether you're gonna do those certain rituals, because I know for some of us we had to pause a little bit when the lunar eclipse was present, on doing rituals. But now, you know, start your new year, guys. Whether the New Year's resolutions, you definitely can make those now. And yeah, I don't know, maybe some other time we'll get to share testimonials with, okay, let's season Lena, how was it for you? How was this? How was that? But just realign yourself to this calendar that your ancients left you, you know. Unfortunately, Hore, it's stuff that we are shut out from. But this is into yakho lena. You own this. This thing resonates with you, and when you start living in resonance to that, you'll see, man. There's certain things, you know. I know we're all not gonna have the same seasons. I know in Newt, a lot of people. I don't know. I noticed a lot of dates got the Newt season, right? But also, if you're aware of the content as well, it's Paraparas Bulegile. You know, I know it's a period where we used to, maybe somebody passed away in a different season. So if you are doing like practicing African rituals, that's literally the time where ukupula umoya wabo, because it's Paraparas Bulegile. But Asia, unfortunately, this year it left with a whole lot of people. But this year, but I took it on some, you know, we have soldiers on the other side now that are gonna be in the fight of the restoration of Indlu Mnyama for us. But thank you so much. Please subscribe to Stone Square Podcast on my channel. Please catch up on the lives here. So if you go on Moya here, 21, the episodes that are uploaded on the 21st are literally this calendar series that we are covering. But Happy New Year. Those will be hanging with me tomorrow. Let's have fun. We will be Kosoweto. Yeah, just chilling. We are entering our nice 6-month period after a very hectic period of just purely spirit work. You know, we're doing shadow work, we're doing, you know, realigning to our spirit and all of that. But now we get to live in this hydrogen that's pumped, but not too much debauchery. The body's still part of, it's still one of 9 parts of the soul. So still take care of your bodies, but you can relax a little bit now and yeah, do things of the flesh. You know, it's yummy season. And I think we will meet next season, Nema Queen, because I think the Heteru episode that we did last year, it was a practice round, but unfortunately it went live. But we test and yeah, we'll reconvene the next season, yeah, Heteru, Goddess of Love. So please do join us, especially Lona Baratang Boma Mucholo. Oh my gosh, I need my person. So that is the season of unions and relationships. There's a lot of other energies that we'll speak about next season. There is, I think, final comments. People will become wise and religion will die. Keep it up, Ngomsebenzi omuhle Ntsike. Absolutely, man, Queen. Yeah, Queen has been holding it, man, from the early days, From the early days. How do we go about celebrating the spring equinox, our new year, when you are at home with our families? So, as mentioned, SK Marutla. Well, the one thing I think if we can get to that level where we practice doing our sun salutations and our moon salutations, even though the moon, the divine feminine, but if we can get to, in the rising, do your sun salutations, So for those who are on the fast with me with the new season, every rising, we would literally zapahla together, but you can literally just say, thank you for life, thank you for life. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, just you can talk to the sun, whether you're gonna sun gaze in the sun, but you can have celebrations, the same celebrations that you have ka New Year, the 31 transitioning into the one. You can literally have those things, whether you're gonna be having food there, whether you're gonna be having fireworks. I know we don't have access to fireworks unless you're the type that buys in bulk, but you can the fireworks, if bad boos are there in the streets, like tomorrow, make sure you wish at least 5 Africans a happy new year, we literally just do that. But we seal it off with a ceremony where unut, the season that we are currently in, that we are closing now, we seal it by just revering. But usually it's a 12-hour ceremony where every hour is dedicated to an energy house of the zodiac wheel, right? It's got different ceremonies, but you can literally just mention all these 12 names in sequence, whether you're gonna say Dua or or Bayete, the energy house. You can do that. Can do your yogas, but just give gratitude that thank you, Sun, that you have returned and you have come to give us life. You have come to give us hope. You can cook. You can drum. We enjoy drumming a lot. We enjoy singing collectively. So we'll be chilling. Libo Togoza Koko Gang. You can DM me if you want to be part of that. But yeah, we want high vibrational people amongst us, and people understand, okay, this is the insane bunch, and we said that insanity basically means we are within sanity, the ones that are not insane are the ones actually maybe who are crazy. We're not the crazy ones here, and they call us names. But thank you so much. I don't know if we wanna read the last comments. But yeah, so SK, that's how you're gonna, so the same theme, Yari 31 that you do, New Year's Eve transitioning 31, you can literally do that, but just remember, also just give reverence and say thank you, to your ancestors, thank you to your guides, you're able to see a new season. Just, if you don't know what it is to do, just give gratitude. I think gratitude is also there in high vibration. It's an expression of love as well. And then Noni says, I'm deeply grateful to the both of you. The calendar seasons have been so transformative. So much. And those who followed me from this platform are also on my platform, like Unoni, so much. I think one day we'll have a nice session where we just share testimonials with, okay, how has life been since the calendar, SK, I think you can have like a 7 colors type of lunch or dinner and light green candles. Thank God for the new year. Thank God for the year, and share what fruits you would like to see in your future. Perfect, Unati. Absolutely spot on. You can do that. Love and light. Keep teaching us. Happy new season. We're going back to who really are, says Vusipi Boleng. This is our Khosi Khadi from Botswana. So shout out to Botswana and everybody in the diaspora as well. And Nati down here in the south. And yeah, everybody from all our tribes here in South Africa and all over the diaspora, happy new year, happy spring equinoxing. Thank you so much. Use green abundance. Let's go fetch this abundance and prosperity and just realign to ourselves. My queen, ngiyabonga so much. This was a very delicious episode.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Thank you
Bye.
so much. Thank you to everybody who joined. As you heard, you can join Gogo Mukhadi's Stone Queer podcast. Just follow her there. And we'll see each other next month on the 21st. As we unpack more astrology, African things, and yeah. So this is it. So we'll see you guys the 21st, at 8 p.m. usual time. Thank you so much, Coco. That was wonderful. We really enjoyed that.
Thank you so much, my queen. Thank you. And can my add African peace to